No, just going to say, so men, as far as I know, all men have some sort of a rating system, whether it's a number 0 to 10 or just a like and dislike, or there's potential in somebody, or whichever rating system it is that we use. If I see myself as a 7 because that's the identity I've taken on it, just if I use this as an example, and there's a woman standing across the room who looks like a 9 in my mind, in my perception of things, I want that 9, but I cannot approach her because I'm only a 7. I cannot even walk up to her and just say hi because I'm out of a league, as we've mentioned before. And because of this identity I've taken on that I am a 7, it'll stop me from going there. It'll stop me to engage, to talk. Yeah. And chances are, if she comes to speak to me, oh my goodness, I'll be a blabbermouth, because it will just be like, and I'll have no clue what to do based on this person I cannot relate with them because they are above me, sort of.
Because my identity is not such that I don't identify as being a person that this other person could be interested in.
Yeah, yeah.
So identity plays a huge role in blocking us.
Yeah.
Sometimes also we go into relationships not with we say our intention is because we want an intimate relationship, but actually we have another agenda.
Yeah.
We have a different intention that is driving us being with someone else, and it's usually can be often quite unconscious, that we're not even aware of it. And one of them is, as we say, outside expectations play a big role. Mm-hmm. Society says you need to be married
by a certain age. By a certain age. Yeah.
Or as a woman, you're not okay if you're not married, and you need to have kids by a certain age. Yeah. So what's wrong with you if you're not? So often we then our intention going into the relationship is to meet those external society needs.
Yeah.
To have that tick box ticked. Okay, I'm married and I've got kids, so that that box is ticked.
Yeah.
Instead of going into relations, I want to express myself and my love in this relationship, and I want to, receive someone else's love. We go in there trying to tick box a thing, or we might even go in trying to fill a need. Like, I'm not whole unless I'm with someone else.
Yeah.
So I want to experience that I'm okay, instead of just being okay and expressing your okayness in the relationship.
Yeah. And those hidden agendas, as you said, because they're unconscious, we might be behaving in certain ways and doing things in certain ways in order to get in, to become part of a relationship or step into a relationship with somebody else. But because we are unaware of them, they drive our behavior, which ends up, that neediness shows in some way, which tends to push people away if they pick up on it. Yeah.
And another block that pushes people away is fear. Sometimes even though we really, really want a relationship, we are afraid of relationships. We fear the magic that actually comes from it. So we actually have issues around intimacy. We fear being that intimate with another person and vulnerable, opening ourselves up.
Yeah. That
it can actually stop us from being ready for a relationship.
Yeah. We could have a fear of rejection. I don't want to date because that person's going to reject me at the end of the night, so I'd rather just not go there in the first place. Or other people kind of laugh at me and not like me. My friends, maybe it's based on some mistakes I've made in the past, but it comes down to rejection that I don't want to feel from those people, so I'm not even going to try and engage this person because it's just going to cause that all over again.
I'm so fearful of that experience. So another fear is the fear of actually the spontaneity of relationships. So we as humans, and it's I find it very interesting, is that we want rules. We like structure. We need to be in control. We want to know what's happening when and why and how.
Oh yeah.
And relationships just don't function like that. Relationships are very spontaneous and fluid because it's two different people with two different sets of filters, of frames of mind and expectations and experiences and wants and desires that come together it's very difficult to control what may happen, and that's so. We are so desperate as humans to have conclusions and to know exactly where we stand that, by date number 2, we're like, so, where's this going?
Are we going to get married?
Date number 2, maybe if both people are on the same page, that's great. But often it's not that case. So it's, instead of, we fear that spontaneity and going with the flow.
Yeah.
Such because of that need for control, that it can block a relationship.
And the uncomfortableness that comes with that, because it's not necessarily the easiest phase, although there might be nice feelings in the body, the butterflies and some of that things, but it could also have that uncomfortable, not sure, as you mentioned, where is this relationship at?
If we if we have filters that need clarity and certainty.
Yes.
And everything to be in a box and to know exactly what's what.
Yeah.
And even I think so in the early stages it's particularly prevalent, but even in the later stage of a relationship, after many years, relationship is still spontaneous and fluid.
Yeah.
But our need to control them can be what actually stifles relationships. The one other fear I just wanted to mention was the actual fear around the intensity of the raw emotions.
Yeah.
Relationships are emotional.
Yeah.
It's and believe it or not, I think it's the one thing that attracts us to relationships as well as repels us. It makes us scared of them. It's because when you're in that intimate relationship, you will feel the most rawness of your emotions. It's usually that person we are the most angry with when something goes wrong, and it's the person we are the most in love with, and the most happiest around, and the most frustrated with, and all of those things. It's like most with relationships. And why I point that out is because we're going to talk later about relationships as one of the building blocks. Or we're going to talk about our relationship to emotions as one of the building blocks.
Yeah.
But it can be a fear that people hold themselves back from being in a relationship because they don't know how to manage emotions, let alone the intense raw emotions that come out in intimate relationships.
Yeah. So another fear is of not knowing what to do. So just very quickly, maybe I've spent so much time building my career, studying, working, that I haven't built up experience in meeting people. So I have this... In relating.
In communicating intimately.
Yeah, so I do not know simple things like when is it okay to hold somebody's hand or put my hand, or the first kiss, or any of those types of things I have no clue about, because I haven't had the experience, and because I have that fear of doing those things, I might not even want to approach a relationship because I don't know how to do that, so I'd rather not even go there.
And if you can see, some of the fears all linked, because the fear of rejection, and what do I do wrong, and then I get rejected, and all of those.
And then, of course, there's the decisions we've made.
As teenagers.
Teenagers usually, yeah. So you've got a nice story about this.
Yeah, I dated someone, and he had made up or decided when he was still a teenager that he wouldn't marry his first girlfriend, his first love.
Mm-hmm.
I happened to be the first love, and we had a wonderful relation. We were crazy about each other, but it got to the point where he says, like, well, I'm not going to marry you because I made this decision, so there's no point in continuing the relationship. So I think it was very sad that it had to end that way, but it's an interesting example of when we grow up, we make decisions based on the circumstances in our life growing up. So as a teenager, a 10-year-old, or whatever, and with a 10-year-old brain, with a teenager's level of experience and view of the world, and being influenced by often parents and other relationships around us, we then make decisions around relationships. So I will not marry my first girlfriend. Yeah. I need to make sure that that's so right, and the only way I'll make sure is by dating more than one woman and then deciding.
Yeah.
Relationships hurt, but the fooling around is nice. So I just want to fool around. From now on, those kind of decisions that we make growing up may have served us at that time, but 10 years later, 20 years later, they no longer serve us because they're holding us back from experiencing the relationship that we could be experiencing at this level in our human developments.
Yeah.